What up, YouTube world? This foster homes, feds, and fighting. Back with another story about this story I'm going to talk about is how I got into foster care. I became a foster child. There's 7 different ways this can happen. So I'm gonna name off a couple ways, but and then I'll name the ways that happened to us. I'm a younger brother of in my immediate family we got a brother and a younger sister. I'm the middle brother. I have a year older brother, and then I have a sister. So, anyways, the way you can get into foster homes, which is unfortunate, is say your parents were on drugs or something, and then at the hospital, the CPS will take your kids if someone else in your family can't take care of them. Um, Another way is if you're already born and living life with your family, and then CPS gets called and they go over there and they see that it's unfit for you to live over there, the welfare of you from your family, so they'll take your kids until your parents get it right, and they can have a chance to get you back if they work hard for it. And then another way, which this is the way it happened with us, um, my mom had passed away in an accident with my little sister, and my dad was an alcoholic, so they didn't let us go with him. So instead, they took us and put us in a child protective services foster care. Now, listen, this story right here is not to have no self pity, not to be like, oh, it's sad. The story itself is sad, but let me tell you something about my life. It was one hell of a ride, and I don't take nothing from it. It is the way it is. These are the cards I was dealt, and this is the hand I had to play. So other than that, I'm okay with it. But it is the story is sad. The story part of it. So my parents were Mexican nationals. Me, my brother, and my sister were the first American born out of our family. And like I said, my dad was an abusive. He was an alcoholic, so he was abusive. As far as I can remember, when I was a little kid, my dad used to beat my mom. Now, there's 2 things you're gonna understand in life. You're either gonna grow up to be something like that, or you're gonna grow up to be something away from that. And me personally, every girlfriend that I've ever had, I've never beat any of my girlfriends. I've never hit them. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that at all. I don't believe you should be able to get mad at someone so bad, so much that you have to put your hands on them. So I'm not with that. Now I might have mentally abused or done some stuff like that to some girlfriends, which that itself is not good at all either. So I had to learn from that itself. But what I'm saying is, I've never smacked my women up. That's just not me. And another thing, real quick, I don't believe a woman should hit a man either, because what do you expect's gonna happen? So, with that being said, that's what I learned from that abusive relationship that my dad had with my mom. My dad used to abuse us too, used to hit us and stuff. But then when I think about it, I don't even know if that was abuse, because the way I grew up, it was the norm. That was just normal. You did something wrong, bam, you get smacked. But you know what? At the same time, I'm not even mad. It is what it is. I had fear for my dad, but I loved my dad. There'll be stories later on that I'm going to talk about that are going to make that are kind of tripped out because my dad was involved in a lot of stuff. But anyways, back to the way we became a foster child. So at the time, my dad had just finished beating my mom or something like that. So my mom had left and went to one of her friends' house. I believe the lady's name was Juanita. But anyways, so at the time my mom wasn't with my dad. Not that she wasn't with. She had took me, my brother, and my sister to go stay with her friend, right? Because like I said, my dad had abused my mom. Um, Real quick story, real vividly. I remember when I was young, one time my dad had smacked my mom, and then made us get out the car, and we were looking in the window, and my mom's passenger side, and I could just see her face all bloody, and my dad was hitting her. And as a little kid, I don't know how old I was specifically, but I remember that traumatized me because I've always remembered that picture in my mind growing up. For the rest of my life, I remember that. But anyways, so the way it happened, like I said, my mom and dad were Mexican nationals. So when my dad beat my mom, she took us to her friend's house. Now I remember one day, um, I think my mom would take my sister to go get babysit somewhere else because my sister was a little kid. She was like 1.5, I believe. At this time, I think I was 7 years old, and my brother was 8.5. I believe that. Now what had happened was, I remember a phone call get. I remember there was a phone call. We were staying at Juanita's house. It was early in the morning. I believe early in the morning. We get a phone call, and I heard my mom's friend Juanita just scream with the horrific. There we go, with the horrific scream, like you never heard that before. For some reason, me being a little kid, I didn't understand, but when she screamed and cried, I felt something in my heart, and it made me just start bawling. Now mind you, I forgot to say this part. My first language is Spanish, so I didn't know no English. So going into foster homes, we knew no English. We were straight paisas, as they would say. But anyways, so that phone call that Juanita had got was I think the police telling them that my mom had passed away. So my mom's friend sat me and my brother down and explained to us that my mom had passed away. For some reason, we just started crying, right? But I remember, so Juanita ended up calling CPS and telling them that my dad's abusive and alcoholic. That's why they're over there with them. So from that day on forward, foster care got involved in our life and took us to go live in foster homes. Now, mind you, like I said, we didn't know English at all. So imagine living with a white foster family and don't know no English. Like that itself was hard to comprehend because I didn't understand half the shit they were even telling me. Um, so that's how me and my brother became into foster homes. That's exactly how we became into foster homes. So there's that way of becoming into foster homes. And yeah, that's a sad story because I believe, look at your nephews, or if you got kids right now that are around 7 or 8 years old, imagine the mother passing away and you having to get taken to a home of not knowing people. You know what I'm saying? So that right there was sad. If anything, that might have traumatized me growing up, but me not knowing it, like I said, I'm still trying to understand English, so I don't understand half the shit that's going on. But that's how we got put into foster homes. Now, when I was in foster homes, there's three. I went through about 15 foster homes from 7 to about 15 years old, because then I got so much in trouble I became ward of the court, not ward of the state. So I was in the foster homes from almost a good almost 10 years, right, as a youngin. Um, so within those times, I could remember three specific families that I had lived with that I felt like they really did care about me. They didn't. Oh, another thing is they didn't put me and my brother together. Me and my brother got into a fight at one time, and then they separated us or whatnot. So we ended up going to foster homes, different foster homes. So they never really put it. We went into one foster homes together, but that's when I think that incident had happened. So they separated us, and then they just let us live in different foster homes. And it was sad. I missed my brother. That was my brother, my older brother. Hey, we're just kids being kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, so it wasn't like something major. It's not like he had hate towards me. It's just what it was. That's what had happened. Shit. You know what I mean? But anyways, like I was saying, I had three foster homes that I really remember. Matter of fact, these three foster homes, well, one was a group home, but these foster homes, even when I got caught with the feds, I reached out to them. They even helped me by writing a letter of characterization of who I am, so they wouldn't give me that much time. But anyways, one of the foster families I had when I was young, it was the Watsons. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the second one. The first one, it was the Freeds. I remember it was Greg and Sandy Freed. Greg was a white man and his wife was a Hindu, a Islamic or whatever, right? But this family right here was cool. I liked them because the dad was a trucker, right? This is the first time that I've ever got taken. I ended up with them. I ended up going to Texas, Corpus Christi, if that's the name of it, Christie's, whatever. And then Florida, Key West, Florida. I went across the United States with them, and it was amazing. I have a scar on the back of my head because we were at a resort. I got on it. My foster dad had made a swing, and I swung back and I hit my back of my head. So, but anyways, I love, man, that was something that I always keep in my heart. Like, man, that was dope, man. I was able to go to Texas. I was able to go to and I think maybe 10 at this time, and I was able to go to Key West, Florida. So it was amazing right there. I don't know why I ended up leaving that foster home, but I ended up going to another foster home, and then this one right here, it was out of Empire, the Watsons. I had love for them too, but the thing about the Watsons was they had a foster kid that had turned 18, right? And he ended up going to the army. At that young age, I think I might have been like 13. At that young age, in my mind, I already started thinking like, "Dang, that's crazy. When I turn 18, I don't have a mom and a mom and a dad. So where am I gonna go? You know what I mean? So I was already thinking about that. So a 13-year-old shouldn't be thinking about where's he gonna go after he turns 18. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Um, and then after that, I don't know. Oh, they switched agencies. So I was at a Modesto. So they had a they switched agencies, and then they had to move me to the one, and they had moved one to Turlock. But the foster home that they put me in was in Modesto as well, and it was grandma's house. Now this one right here, this lady right here, she was solid. We had about 6, 7 foster kids there, solid. She was a good. This lady right here, she looked out. She was an older grandma lady, but hey, she was stern but fair. You know what I'm saying? So I have major love for her. They looked out for me when I got in trouble with the feds. They looked out for me, and I give them none but love and respect. So I'm so grateful for them. I still even talk to them to this day. Um, oh, and real quick about see when my mom passed away in a car accident at that young age that we were about 7, like I said, my little sister had passed away because my little sister was with her. So I grew up just me and my brother were in foster homes, not my little sister. So we had to live with that burden, right? So, like I was saying though, those are the 3 foster homes I remember that's kept me for a very long time. I've been through like 15 of them, but it was just for like a month or something, whatever, whatever. I want to give a big shout out to my social worker though. And I'm gonna tell you something. Her name was Patty O'Reilly. I don't know if she's deceased. It's been many, many years, but let me tell you something. She was a great lady. Now that lady right there, I believe in my heart, she was meant to become a social worker because she cared about her clients, well, or us. As I don't know if you call them clients or whatever. We're her kids, right? But she told me one time. I remember she told me, she's like, Hugo, if you go to foster homes and you don't like it there, you feel uncomfortable, I'll move you. And I was kind of like, okay. And I used that to the most advantage that I could. You know what I'm saying? But see, growing up in foster homes, let me tell you something. I think one thing that really messed me up was not growing up without a mom, right? Because even till this day, I show my friends my friends' moms the utmost respect. I don't care if your mom was a dope fiend. I don't care if your mom was not good growing up to you guys. Me personally, knowing not having a mom, I show them utmost respect because I have a couple of friends that are even mean to their moms, and in my mind, I think like, dude, if your mom wasn't here, you would never talk to her like that. You would never treat them like that. But hey, you know what? People will learn differently. So I always had that and it's messed with me through all my life. Like I'm 41 right now. It's messed with me through 41 years. I've never got over it. I know this because that holiday of Mother's Day that comes up, like, yeah, I smile and I show a whole bunch. Like I'm always happy, so I'm always smiling. But I start thinking like that's a sad day for me. I don't know if it affects my brother the same way, which I kind of most likely it probably does. We don't talk about it, but it messed me up my whole life just knowing that. You know what I'm saying? Not having a mom and all that. Like when shit went rough with me, when I got my heart broke, I couldn't go back to my mom and tell her. Couldn't go to tell my dad I got in a fight or something. I need some. I couldn't have done none of that. We just had to take it on the chin and keep going, man. So that's the way life was. So, and I'm not even mad. Like I said, I had one hell of a ride. I had to grow up faster than what I wanted to. That is one thing I did have to do. Now, I was talking to one of my friends, right? She grew up in foster homes as well. She ended up getting adopted, and she had messaged me this morning, and I'm gonna try to get these people on interviews to let them tell us their side of the stories, how they felt. Um, see, she ended up getting adopted, but see, a lot of people what she told me that brought out to me that stuck with me. She's like, let me tell the part about where like when they like, yeah, I got adopted by a good family, but I feel like why was I not good enough for my real mom to raise me, right? Or now that she got adopted by a good family, now she has to be successful, right? Instead of just living your life. You know what I mean? She told me that, and that made me think in the morning, like, you know what, that is kind of like a burden to have on you. It's unfortunate, you feeling like you have to be successful for somebody else than instead of living your life, right? Hey, live your life. Live your life. This is your life. We're gonna make mistakes. It's okay. I believe in second chances. Sometimes in life you don't get it right the first time, the second time. But let me tell you something. As long as in your mind you change for reals, you're worth that second chance again. Um, and you can't. And let me tell you something. Once you really get it, once you get it, it could be the next day you really get it. No one can tell you you ain't changed. How did they know? You changed in your heart. If you changed, then you changed. Don't let someone else tell you, oh, it's only been a week. You ain't changed. Man, let me tell you something. If you get it, it could be that one day. It could be that one week. And then you get it and you've changed. So don't ever let someone make you feel like there's a certain amount of time before they see that you really changed. You don't have to prove shit to nobody. But like I was saying, so I was talking to my friend this morning about that, and she explained to me, she was like, it made me feel like I had to be successful for somebody else, but I always wondered why couldn't I just been like normal? And in all reality, what is normal? What is normal? Um, we all have our ups and downs. What we don't understand about life and about what people struggles. My life ain't any worse than anybody else's. Maybe to me mentally it messed me up some way. But how do I know that something smaller that I think is smaller, but it's not, messed their mind up a totally different way? So I don't judge on that. I don't say, oh, my life was more worse than their life because I grew up this way. You know what? That had to happen. That's life. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep pushing. Let me tell you about this little foster. Let me tell you about this little story though. At this foster home I was at. This right here made me real quick. You know how I felt when I would go to new foster homes? I felt weird because I would end up meeting new foster parents, right? New foster aunts, new like if I went to a family and we went to their like brother's house, there would be my uncle or whatnot, my foster uncles. I have to meet all their family. Oh, this is the new foster kid. You know how that makes someone feel when you say that? Oh, this is the new foster kid right here. Oh, what's your name? Oh, my name's Hugo. Oh, hi, nice to meet you. And they start trying to talk to you about stuff that you don't even understand because you don't understand, right? But that right there kind of always messed with me like, damn, man, I have to go to another foster home. I have to meet other foster people's parents, other foster, like, it was just, I felt like, what is it called? Like, I was at an auction. Like, weird, right? But anyways, so that's something I grew up with, like feeling not insecure because I'm a confident man, but it always made me feel kind of weird, like, damn, man, gotta go meet somebody else and shit. But look, so here's a story about when I was in this foster home in Riverbank. Now this foster home, I remember they had two of their biological kids, and then they had another foster kid there before I got there. Well, he was older than me. When I got there, I met the kid, whatever. We're the same age. One of the kids was the same age as me. One of their biological kids was, right? Well, I remember I went to it was a school in Riverbend called Cardozo. I remember I went to Cardozo, and I don't know why this kid hated on me or not, but back then, before nowadays, where they make those pants that look like they're shredded and stuff, and those shorts look like they're threaded, it wasn't like that. Back then, if your shorts were shredded that have holes on the knees, you were basically poor and broke, right? So I remember when I went to school, that foster kid, the foster brother, the biological brother, he had like I think someone asked him, hey, who's that? And he's like, is that another foster kid? And the guy's like, yeah. And then that like he started making fun of me for having holes in my pants, right? And then I felt like, what the hell? So when I went back home, we got into it. So I beat him up. I beat him up. But the other foster brother, not the biological brother, but the other foster brother got up behind me and put his arm around my throat and choked me out until I let the dude go. And then I was crying like, why'd you do that? And I think at this time, I swear, I might have been like 13, 14. I was in seventh grade. Whatever you are in seventh grade no, I think I'm sorry. I was in sixth grade at Cardozo Middle School. It was a middle school, right? Where however old you are in sixth grade, so I remember, and I asked the dude, why'd you choke me? And he was like, look, this is a real eye opener. He goes, look, man, that's the real kid. You're not the real kid. You're a foster kid like I'm a foster kid. They're not gonna care what he said. They're gonna care on why you put your hands on him. That stuck with me for the rest of my life because I always thought like, oh damn. That made me realize, like, look, man, that's cool when you go to other foster homes and they got biological kids. You're gonna be treated a little different. You're gonna you're not gonna get treated the same. And within time, I started realizing that. I started seeing it. I started seeing how they were getting treated compared to we were getting treated. And I'm not saying everybody's like that. I'm not saying every foster home is like that. I'm just saying this is what happened when I went to the foster homes that I went through out here. Yeah, I'm from Modesto, but I went from every other little city as well. Empire, Riverbank, Turlock, Ceres, every other little town, Oakdale, the town. I was there. But what I'm saying is that really made me think the whole time, like, man, like my mind started thinking different at that moment. I started thinking really different. And then another incident that had happened, I remember one time I was at some foster home and I remember my name came in a letter, right? And then I don't know why, but I opened it and I seen the amount of money they got paid for taking care of me. That that alone made me think, oh man, these foster parents don't care about me. They care about the money we get. Then I started realizing why a lot of parents will have like 6 foster kids, right? And I was thinking like, man, these guys are making big money of taking care of us, but are they doing it for the money or are they doing it because they really care about people? Now, like I said, there's 3 foster homes that I've been through where I felt they cared about people. They cared about us, right? And there were some foster homes I was with, like the Watsons in Empire. They had 3 biological kids. But they didn't. I felt like they didn't treat us any different at all. They're church going. They made us go to church and all that. I was forced, so it wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, let's go to church. So I was forced to go. So that's what made me rebel against believing in Jesus and church and all that. But anyways, there'll be a story later on about what changed my life about that, what changed my mind about that. But see, so I feel like when you're young and you're forced to do something, you're most likely are gonna rebel against it. But when you get older, you're gonna start seeing the light and understand life. So maybe they're trying to teach you something for better. So like I was saying though, there's 3 foster homes that I felt that really cared about us. Um, I still talk to some of them to this day, and I'm 41 years old. And like I said, they got nothing but love for Hugo because my whole life has changed. Like I said, there's a life before 2016, and then there's a life after 2016. This is my life after 2016. So I'll start sharing stories about what had happened prior to this. But that's how I became a foster homes. So like I said, we didn't grow up around my dad. I didn't grow up like my mom had passed away. They put us in foster homes, and that's how I had to live my life all the way until about like 15, I believe, 15 or 16. That's when I ended up getting in really, really trouble. Um, but look, man, it's never too late to change. Don't let the world make you feel like you're less than what you really are. Because let me tell you something. Maybe right now you might not know what you're meant for, but throughout the the mistakes you make in life, you're gonna realize what you want to be and what you're meant for. Um, don't do drugs. Like I said, a lot of my foster people that I know, foster brothers that I know, got heavily indulged in either drugs or alcohol or another vice that mentally messed them up. I look at them now down the street sometimes and I'm thinking in my mind, like, man, that could have been me right there. But I went a different route. With that being said, keep your head up. Don't let no one judge you. You can always reinvent yourself. The world is what you perceive yourself as. In other words, no one knows who you are until you start expressing who you are. And they can't tell you that's not who you are. You are who you are. Um, you're always in a position to change yourself. But if you're gonna reinvent yourself with a good heart. Be good to people. There's too many haters out here. There's too many. Don't be on no sucker shit. There's too many people already doubting you. So don't doubt yourself. The number one person that you have is the one in the mirror. The the biggest thing you could have is your support team. The reason why I made it to how I made it to this day is my support team. My support team is my brother for sure. My number one, that's my number one fan right there, man. The reason why I don't mess up now is because I don't want to let him down. With that being said, man, I hope you guys have a good day. Stay focused. Don't ever let no one make you feel like you're not worth it because you're worth it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be coming out with another story next week, and this is going to be called Feds because it's going to be how the Feds got involved in my life. Like I said, free Kane. You guys have a blessed day.